Some women who work outside the home have a harsh view of housewives. They probably have their reasons. But it's too cruel to look down on housewives, especially when you're a fake working mother yourself. This is a story about such an awful person in my own family. My name is Agnes, a 25-year-old housewife. I was proposed to by Bobby on my birthday, got married without any issues, and it's almost been 3 months. I've gotten used to the life of a housewife. At first, I felt guilty for always being at home, but I've come to realize there's more work around the house than I thought, and my days are full. Now that I'm settled into my new life, I'm thinking of starting something new. I'm interested in a bread-making class. Once I get good at baking bread, I want to share it with my brother and his wife. My brother Frederick has always been my pride and joy. Handsome and above all, a kind and good person. He is proactive at work and with parenting, truly a brother to be proud of. But there is one troublesome thing about my admirable brother. Well, it's not Frederick himself, but his wife, Layla, that's the issue. Layla is very strong-willed, maybe too much so. My brother and his wife had a shotgun marriage. Layla often boasts that, "I got pregnant because my husband is handsome and I wanted to show him off, so I didn't want anyone else to have him." I've seen Layla's mother to tell her stop talking like that. Layla responded, "Don't interfere with our marriage from the outside. It's annoying and unnecessary." I remember thinking she was scary. The first time Layla called me, I was a bit surprised that she even had my number. "There's something I need to ask you." "Layla, long time no see." "Yeah, so I've been working a part-time job, but I don't have anyone to leave my child with tomorrow. Could you look after him for a day?" "Are you talking about Andy?" "Yes. Andy is my nephew, the adorable son of my brother and his wife, who just turned 1. The last time I saw him was at our wedding. Andy was asleep through both the ceremony and the reception, not causing any fuss, a truly cute nephew. I do feel like playing with him, but he's only 1. I've only met him a handful of times. Is it really okay for me to suddenly look after him? For how long would I be taking care of him?" Maybe around 8 hours. 8 hours? That's a long time. I could manage an hour or 2, but 8 is too much. That's a bit too long for me. What? You're a housewife, aren't you? Complaining even though you're free? I can't believe it. Fine, I'll make it 6 hours, but I won't budge any further. She's not budging. When did I get pushed into this? It's scary for someone with no parenting experience to look after a 1-year-old for 6 hours. I'm worried Andy might not be comfortable being suddenly left with me. It's fine, he's not a crybaby. I'll bring him over tomorrow. With that, Layla decided on the plan by herself. The next day, Layla brought Andy to our house, all dolled up with perfect makeup. I couldn't get a spot for temporary care at the child care center. It's a hassle. Anyway, I'm counting on you for today. Layla handed me a paper bag packed with diapers and jars of baby food, entrusting me to look after Andy. "Andy, you've gained weight in these 3 months." "Kids grow so fast, don't they? He looks chubbier, but don't worry about it. Oh, and if I can't secure a spot in the daycare, Frederick says I shouldn't even be doing my part-time job. So please, keep this between us, okay?" "Wait, Frederick doesn't know Andy's coming over?" "That's what I'm saying. Please take care of it. I'll see you later." Layla left with a spring in her step, clearly delighted to be working outside the home. I watched her until she disappeared from view. Then, feeling uneasy, I readjusted my hold on Andy. "Andy, it looks like it's just you and me today. Let's get along, okay?" Andy, oblivious, continued to suck on his pacifier. Somehow, I managed to get through the day taking care of Andy. He was so well behaved and hardly cried. I wasn't sure if this was normal, having no other children to compare him to. Even so, as calm as he was, it was still exhausting to spend the day with a 1-year-old for the first time. I was relieved when I returned Andy to Layla without incident. I thought to myself that I might be willing to watch him again sometime, but I'd need a break for a while. Then, just 1 week later, Layla called again. "I need you to watch Andy tomorrow." "What? Again? You said he didn't cry at all last time. It should be fine. Don't worry." "But I have plans tomorrow." "What are you talking about? A housewife is like a parasite at home. You can reschedule your plans whenever. Oh, and don't tell Frederick, okay? You know the drill, so I'm counting on you for tomorrow." "Layla, wait!" She hung up after having her say, ignoring my protests. I tried to call back in a panic, but she didn't answer. The next day, she left Andy with me and went to work all smiles. And so, it became a frequent occurrence for Layla to leave Andy with me, especially on Saturdays. Every time she'd say, "I don't have anyone to watch him, so I need you to do it tomorrow," deciding unilaterally that I would babysit. I understand the struggle of finding someone to watch a child during work hours, but it's troubling to be taken for granted like this over and over again. All the while, Layla belittles me for being a housewife. Her demands have led me to reschedule my hair salon appointments and cancel my bread-making classes. I can't even go shopping when I want to. Moreover, the contents of the paper bag Layla leaves with me have become more careless with each time. No, 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 no diapers, no snacks, no bottle, no baby bottle. Every time something was missing, I had to take Andy shopping with me. Even when I told Layla about the extra things I had to buy for Andy and the cost, all she would say was, "Oh, really?" Without a word of apology. It's too much. My home isn't a free childcare center. There is a limit. I've decided it's time to speak up to Layla. I can't lose this battle. "Layla, I can't keep looking after Andy for you." "What? What are you talking about? Don't make decisions on your own, okay?" Layla offers Andy to me with a scary look on her face. "Decisions on my own? This is all a situation you've created. I refuse to hold him, standing my ground." Then Layla, filled with anger, snaps. "This is why people who don't work are no good, useless and irresponsible, or should I say, lacking common sense? I have to go now. Do you even realize how much trouble you're causing? I bet you don't. Do you?" Lacking common sense? Is that your self-introduction, Layla? You are making a fool out of me way too much. But I don't want to fight. I just want her to stop being so selfish. So I decide to be the adult and suppress my irritation. Anyway, it's a hassle to have him dropped off so often, so I won't be taking him anymore. It's a hassle for me too. You've taken him once, so take some responsibility. The responsibility for Andy is yours, not mine. Layla glares at me. I glare right back. We are locked in a staring contest when suddenly Andy starts crying and our attention turns to him. Maybe he got scared of the adults arguing. Seeing Andy crying so hard, Layla suddenly laughs ominously. "Maybe I did push Andy's care on you too much, huh?" Your face doesn't look like you mean that at all. Your words and expressions don't match. It's a mocking smile. "I'll do better next time. When would be good for you?" "It's never a good time." "Oh, scary. Well, whatever. I'll just take Andy with me today. Let's go, Andy." Layla lives with a laugh, taking Andy with her. Her words leave a nagging feeling, as if there is a hidden agenda. And she's taking the child with her even though she's got a part-time job to go to? It's baffling, but I don't want to get involved with her anymore. I close the door, feeling unresolved. A week goes by. The unresolved feeling lingers, but I decide to distance myself from Layla. So, as a chance of pace, I decide to go on a day trip with Bobby. Our destination is a stylish tourist spot along the coast. I'm curious about the cafe there. I want to relax with Bobby. I'll dress up for our date and even repaint my nails. Maybe I should wash the car too. Thinking about it lifts my spirits. I'm completely carried away and happy. That's when a call comes in to spoil my mood. Of course, it's Layla. With a bad feeling, I answer the phone. Hello. Oh, can you look after Andy again? So flippant. Lighter than a marshmallow. Here's the stressful exchange from the other day. As I stood there dumbfounded, Layla set a date for babysitting. Not saying tomorrow must be some progress, right? But that day happened to be the day of our couple's day trip. I naturally refused. Sorry, I have to decline. Are you still saying that? Just bring them over. I'll help you shake off that useless reputation, so make sure you babysit properly. I said, don't come over! I yelled, and this time I hung up the phone. It felt a bit refreshing to hang up on Layla for once, since she always does it to me. I'll have to start refusing like this from now on. Feels good. It seems like things are starting to flow better. Then, on the day of the day trip, my husband and I drove along the coast, playing the music we used for our wedding ceremony. It was a refreshing feeling. Ah, there's an incoming call. Should we pull over? An incoming call on Bobby's mobile phone led us to the parking lot of a grocery store. I thought it might be a work call, but it seemed different. Bobby looked troubled after he hung up. He told me with an unbelievable look that was the apartment owner, saying Layla met them in front of our door and left Andy with them. What? What's that about? I don't know, but we can't just leave Andy with the owner. Let's go back. Okay. We cut our trip short and hurried home. We apologized to the owner when we got back. Even though we felt disappointed to cut our trip short, seeing Andy sparked anger towards Layla. The paper bag the owner said they had been left with Andy didn't have much in it, as usual. Nothing had changed. How could someone leave their precious child so easily with a stranger? The owner looked at us coldly, and it was incredibly awkward. I felt terrible for Bobby. I couldn't stay silent anymore. I contacted Frederick. Frederick, Layla left Andy with our owner to go to her part-time job. I shouted that over the phone. Frederick, on the other end, flustered by my anger, but definitely said, I'm looking at Andy right now, though. Looking after him? I didn't understand what Frederick meant, and I was at a loss for words. What? Andy is with Frederick? But he's here. No, I'm with him. Should I send a picture? I could definitely hear the happy sounds of a small child playing on the other end of the phone. Frederick, who adores kids, didn't seem like he'd lie about Andy. Then, who is this child? I exchanged a glance with Bobby. I'm confused. So there are two Andys? That day, when Layla came to pick up the kids, she was a little later than usual. Bobby was the one who handled it, not me. Layla, today was too much. What's the big deal? Do you have a complaint? Until now, it was just between Layla and me. But Bobby intervened and Layla was flustered. Maybe she felt her misdeeds had been exposed to a third party. But there's no way my husband wouldn't know, right? Layla, that's inconsiderate. You were supposed to be absent today. Agnes would have told you. The owner was here, so it's fine. It's not fine. I heard from Agnes, and if this happens again, I'll have to talk to Frederick about it. What? Layla panicked even more. "Stop it, please. I won't do it again. I was just cutting it close with my part-time job today. I'm sorry, really, please forgive me." Layla snatched her child from Bobby and hurried home. "She's gone." "Okay." I came out of the living room at Bobby's signal. I was wearing a wig from the year-end party, sunglasses I bought for today's drive, an old mobile phone in recording mode hanging around my neck, and clothes that a slightly older woman might wear, borrowed from the owner. Dressing up and tailing someone, I never thought I'd do something like this in my life. "Just go, or you'll lose sight of her." I nodded and left the house. I was going to tail Layla. I felt like a beautiful detective from a 2-hour suspense drama. Unaware of my tailing, Layla entered a nearby burger shop. There was a man waiting for her affair partner, Marty. He was slim and tall, with a well-structured face. A different type of handsome from Frederick. "Sorry for the wait." "Oh, you're back already," Marty said as he took the child Layla was holding. Marty and the child had very similar eye shapes. "Did you do a good job playing Andy today?" "He did. Sister-in-law's husband showed up today, which threw me off a bit. He also calls the kid Andy." They laughed vulgarly and spoke loudly. "Really? Your sister-in-law and her husband are so clueless, aren't they? They still haven't realized this isn't their nephew." "Not a clue. It's your kid and they're so stupid. Looks like the free childcare center will be useful for a while. So, when's our next date?" Layla pressed her body close to Marty and started whining for the next date. The two chatted away without realizing I was sitting right behind them. I recorded the scene with a detached gaze. A free childcare center? A next date? So Layla lied about having a part-time job to have me take care of her lover's child while she messed around with him. When she brought the child over before, she took him back easily when I was hesitant to take him, because it wasn't work, it was a date. That nasty way she laughed last time must have been her making fun of me. Don't mess with me. Enjoy it while it lasts, because today is the end. I couldn't contain my anger. Recording Layla and her flings insulting jabs while stress-eating hamburgers. A free childcare center from the start, huh? Since that day, I'd been oddly looking forward to Layla's calls. Like clockwork, her demand came. "Take care of Andy tomorrow." I was ready for this. "Sure, I'll be there. Just don't leave him with the owner like last time." Yeah, thanks for tomorrow." Layla only heard what she wanted. Fine by me. Layla, full on makeup as usual, dropped off her kid. "Work hard, okay?" "Huh? Oh, thank you." She left, indifferent, casually replying, and headed out seeming pleased. She's gone. I spoke to the living room, holding the kid. There, Bobby and Frederick were waiting. She really brought the kid. Frederick was stunned, staring at me and the child. And indescribable feeling washed over me. I'd told Bobby and Frederick that Layla often dropped off the kid on Saturdays, so they cleared their schedules. "Let's go, Frederick." "Yeah." Urging shell-shocked Frederick, I chased after Layla. Bobby would watch the kid. Layla's destination was an old apartment. Ringing the bell, the other man emerged and hugged her. She walked in with happy steps. Cheating confirmed. I glanced at Frederick worriedly. His expression was the coldest I'd ever seen. If there was a Cheater's Face Championship, he'd win. But this was no joke. Frederick, what now?" I hesitated, scared by his daunting look, though I planned to confront them. "Go home. I've got this." "But it will be 2 against 1. "I'm prepared." Overwhelmed by his fierce, yet hollow laugh, I went home. Frederick's fury was terrifying. Defeated by his intensity, I obediently returned. Or so I pretended, hiding out and continuing surveillance. After all, I am the detective from those 2-hour suspense dramas. Hiding and watching is what we do. While I spied, a taxi pulled up close to Frederick. A woman got out, talking to him. Looked familiar. "Oh," I blurted. It was Layla's mother. Apologizing profusely to Frederick, and with a fearsome glare, she stared down the room where Layla was frolicking with her affair. The glare in my eyes could have nearly blown away that old apartment building. I think maybe everything's okay now. There is no role left for me in this drama. After Frederick and his crew rang the doorbell, I beat down my curiosity to witness the messy aftermath and headed home for good. Layla came to pick up the kids much later than usual that day. I couldn't help but think, well, that figures, as I casually greeted her. "Layla, I was worried since you're late. Did something happen?" Layla had this zombie-like expression, a stark contrast from her joyful demeanor when she left the kids with me. Then she lunged at me. "You told Frederick, didn't you? I ordered you not to tell him. How dare you do this, you parasite!" Caught off guard by her sudden attack, I stumbled. But I didn't have to tolerate it anymore. I shot back against Layla's verbal assault. "What do you mean, ordered? It was you who leeched off me and did as you pleased. You brought this upon yourself." "Shut up! If Frederick is furious, it's because you definitely spoke ill of me. You're the worst, so useless." Bobby rushed out from the living room, alarmed by Layla's abnormal shouting. "Layla, what are you doing? Stop the violence, or I'm calling the police. Call the police, a lawyer, anyone. If it weren't for you, the affair would have never come to light. I will not forgive this." Unable to handle Layla's breakdown and rampage, we ultimately called the police. The owner came to check on the commotion, looking at us with pity. Thankfully, it seemed clear to them that it wasn't us causing trouble but the nuisance of a sister-in-law. The faux Andy was safely delivered to his father's paramour. The man looked resigned. Later on, Frederick and Layla got divorced. It appears Frederick had been suspicious of Layla's strange behavior for a while. And now, learning that Layla had left an unknown child with me to go to work, he inquired at her workplace. However, Layla had quit her part-time job months ago. She had been pretending to work all this time, engaging in an affair. Layla, now having wasted time on affairs even to the extent of leaving the affair partner's child with me, was totally out of favor with Frederick. Frederick managed to secure a divorce on his terms. Layla, well, she is the ex-wife now. He got a sizable settlement from her. Since Layla, unemployed, couldn't pay, her family had to shoulder the cost. Because of this, I heard she's living a cramped life back at her parents'. Layla and her affair partner met through a dating app, it seems. They connected over shared grievances about parenting. He was divorced and knew Layla was married, but continued to fling anyway. Frederick handed me a compensation for all the trouble, the same money he got from Layla. Despite my refusals, insisting I couldn't accept it, Frederick was adamant, so after consulting with Bobby, I reluctantly took it. We've decided to return it bit by bit to Frederick when the real Andy grows up for birthday presents or celebration money. Looking at Andy again, he is the spitting image of Frederick, handsome with not a trace of his ex-wife. It's comforting to think that the shadow of Frederick's ex-wife won't cross my path again in my future. I just hope he keeps growing into a wonderful, handsome man.